Is it true that movies glamorize whatever they touch no matter how horrific? And if a war movie isn't to sound a warning against war, what purpose does it serve? Even if Truffaut's wrong, and it's hard to see his observation applied, at least some of the move is on this list. It might be best to remove the burden of making the world a better place from war movies. It's a lot to ask, especially since war seems to be baked into human existence. Anyways, without any further ado, let's jump into the video, and starting with our first movie in this list, Hacksaw Ridge.
I always dreamed about being a doctor, but didn't get much school.
I don't think this is a question of religion. I think this is cowardice.
Private Doss, you are free to run into the hellfire of battle without a single weapon to protect yourself.
A true story about an American soldier named Desmond Doss who participated in World War II in an infantry unit participating in the Battle of Okinawa as a nurse after he refused to participate as a combat soldier. Saving Private Ryan.
I don't know anything about Ryan. I don't care. Just know that every man I kill, the farther away from home I feel.
A story that takes place in World War II, where a team of American soldiers work to retrieve Private Ryan and return him to his mother after his two brothers were killed in the war. Fury.
Sergeant Collier, I'm your new assistant driver. Tank school? That's home. All right! Hit that son of a bitch! Well, you know we do get $1.35 a day, right? Best job I ever had. Best job I ever had.
Best job I ever had.
He talks about the story of an American tank in World War II in 1945 at a time when most of the American tanks were destroyed in front of the powerful German tanks. Despite that, the elements of this tank and their commander War Daddy decide to complete the war. Enemy at the gates.
The whole country is looking at you.
Those snipers are demoralizing my army.
Capture this city. The entire country will collapse.
During a battle between the Russians and the Germans, there is another battle between two snipers trying to bring down the other. 1917.
That is the German front line.
We will lose 1,600 men. Last man standing.
During World War I, two British soldiers go on an impossible mission where they have to enter the enemy's land in order to deliver a message to prevent the forces of the 8th Corps from clashing with the Germans and falling into their trap. The 800.
The Japanese are approaching from the north.
It's beginning.
Takes place in the year 1937, and a great epic story of only 800 Chinese soldiers who fought in a historic battle against the Japanese army in the city of Shanghai. Dunkirk.
Where are we going? Dunkirk.
You can practically see it from here.
What?
Home.
The film story is about the miraculous evacuation of Allied soldiers from Belgium, Britain, and France, where Allied soldiers are stranded and trapped by the German army in the beaches and harbors of Dunkirk. The Thin Red Line.
How many men do you think it's worth? How many lives?
Maybe all men got one big soul everybody's a part of. All faces of the same man.
Because I have you, nothing can touch me. No hurt, no grief, not even death.
It tells about the struggle of the Americans and the Japanese for the island of Guadalcanal during World War II. Most war movies are usually unfair, but this movie is one of the fairest for both sides. The film was nominated for 7 Oscars. Battle for Sevastopol. The film tells the story of the famous Soviet sniper Lyudmila Pavlichenko, who was a university student and joined the army. The Forgotten Battle.
Die kaart moet bij de geallieerden komen. De enige kans is met oogwater.
Set in World War II, the lives of a British pilot, a Dutch boy, and a woman tragically intersect with the Dutch resistance at the Battle of Scheldt. natural light. The film tells the story of a soldier who must overcome his fears and take command of the battalion while the sergeant is killed. Valkyrie.
I'm a soldier, but in serving my country, I have betrayed my conscience.
The trick is not to be around when they go off.
My Führer, may I present Colonel Stauffenberg?
The thriller drama Valkyrie by Tom Cruise that tells the true story of the attempted assassination of Hitler during World War II. Fans of true stories and exciting nerve-wracking events will love it, especially as the film approaches the end. Operation Mincemeat.
Given the fascist network there, we could quite literally float the documents right into enemy hands.
Charles, why on earth do you keep poking holes in our plan?
I'm preemptively poking.
In the hidden war, the truth is protected by a bodyguard of lies.
The film is about two World War II intelligence officers who attempt to deceive German forces using a dead body and forged papers. Inglourious Basterds.
My name is Lieutenant Aldo Rain. We will be cruel to the German, and through our cruelty they will know who we are. Each and every man under my command owes me 100 Nazi scalps. And I want my scalps.
It tells an alternative historical story of the assassination of leaders in Nazi Germany by two plans. The first for a Jewish girl who escaped from Germany to France and owned cinemas. The second for a team of Jewish recruits led by Lieutenant Brad Pitt. And the last movie in this list, Behind Enemy Lines.
We pretend we're in the middle of a fight, but we're not fighting, we're watching. Don't you forget what you're doing. Are you kidding me? I'm eating Jell-O. He's wiping his hands.
The story is about a disillusioned pilot shot down over war-torn Bosnia is ensnared in the conflict in war-torn Bosnia. In the crosshairs of the enemy and an assassin, the spoiled pilot runs for his life as his commanding officer risks all to save him. I think this is it for this video. You can recommend us in the comments below. More films can be included to this list, so we make this comment section a great source of recommendations for everyone. Thanks for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video.